Hello, it's Blockchain here coming at you with another technical analysis update. For those of you just tuning in, I'm primarily an Elliott wave trader using other areas of Confluence and other technical analysis to really complement my price analysis. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the charts. Real quick, before we do dive into the charts, I do have some exciting announcements for those of you who did miss my last video. My website is up and live, and I am actually giving away my #1 trading strategy for free. All you need to do is go to the website, which is going to be in the links under the video. Go ahead and click on this guy here, and this is actually going to get you my #1 trading strategy that is consistent, profitable, reliable, and applicable to any market. So make sure you guys jump on over, show some support. I've actually gotten quite a few visits from the last video so far and some great feedback on the video, but it's a full video demonstration on how I use that strategy and things to look for. And it's very, very introductory. You can make it as complex as you like depending on where you're at from your trading strategy, trading level. But it's, like I said, it's my #1. So jump over, show some love, and we'll go ahead and send you a private link to that video walkthrough. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into the charts. So I'm going to start with ETH, guys, and I do really, like 99% of the time I start on my high time frame unless I'm just doing a really quick video. So as we dive in, this is from our overall drop that we had from 290 for ETH. And again, as a reminder, the reason why I do look at ETH and Bitcoin together is just because they have a 98% correlation between the two in price action. So what that means is overall moves are going to be very close to the same. However, their wave structure, wave counts, and areas of supports is what is going to be different. So it helps give a little bit clarity for each individual one. So overall, this whole move, it still does look corrective to me for an ABC, where we have 3 waves. An ABC, another 3 waves for the B, and then a 5-wave move right here for the C on ETH. It's been pretty common for ETH to have an extended 5th wave. For an alt, it does have that pretty common, so it's something to look for. Even you can see here where we did have that extended, we had an extended 5th wave and a 3rd wave, so really between the 5th wave of the 3rd or the overall 5th wave is something to watch for as we get these either C waves or impulse waves on ETH. So we did come up, and overall from an extension standpoint is one that I looked at before where I said it is possible where we could actually be done up here at the top. I was looking for one more little pump up, but based on where we were currently, ETH does like the 786 fib level, and we tagged that to a T, and that's where we did see a pretty decent rejection where we came back down. It looks like we've been coming down in a 5-wave move overall. I'm sorry, a 3-wave move overall. We have not gotten the 5-wave move that I was looking for to finish off the 5th wave. Again, just as a reminder, from a very large time frame, like I said, we was from the 290 level, looking as this overall as a 4th wave to come back down for one more 5th, potentially double bottom, maybe you have a little bit of a truncated 5th because of this wave was so drastic right here, and then we can start our new run. Ultimately, from the rejection that we saw, like I said, it is a 3-wave move. So again, ABCs and a correction standpoint are made of 3 waves within that 3-wave. This whole thing has been pretty choppy, pretty corrective. So it is difficult to trade for the most part just because there's so many options on a corrective wave level. From a 5-wave, it's a little bit easier to predict, has a little bit better guidelines, and there's only certain options it can take in order for it to play out. With correctives, there's WXYs, there's flats, expanded flats, all kinds of different wave structures to look at, so the possibilities are open. On this particular guy here, we do have a 3-wave move down. Looking at another 3-wave forming here where we did tag the 1-to-1 of this particular move. Now for this particular C wave, again, options are a little bit more open. We can actually go up and tag 171, get back up here as part of the resistance that we were looking at, and then that can give us our C wave to come back down. We also have this EMA that's right here. I believe it is the looks to be like the 100 EMA. I'll have to double check, but it looks to be a 100 EMA. And then as we drop, that will start to kind of curl back down right here at the 1-to-1 extension. Obviously, kind of depending where we are at overall, it'll change this target for what we're looking for. So if we do get up a little bit higher on the fifth wave of the C wave, so if we do come up, then we're also matches it pretty nicely with the 1.236. So there are some good extensions and some good fib levels from a corrective standpoint to look at, and it's kind of be what we're going to be deciding right here, whether we're going to get another little pump up. But ultimately, I see us getting a rejection going as high as 171 as a max. I'll go ahead and put a little price target on there. That's the wrong one. Sorry, guys. It's 171 max is what I'm looking at for the C wave to come up to, and then ultimately see some rejection to come back down. So that's what we'll pay attention to in the shorter time frame for what we're looking at. We are kind of bouncing off of the top of the bearish control zone here, so seeing a little bit of support, but I can see us come back up, get a little pump and go back into the 170 region. That'll knock our head again on the top of the bullish control zone, and then see us a rejection to come back down for the C. So, but the thing is, if this does come back down for a C wave, which will be in a 5-wave move that we're going to be looking for, that means that we will have another move up. So whether it's just an A wave, I don't think we'll kick off impulsively from it, but that's just going to extend out the correction until we do see that 5-wave overall impulsive wave down. That would then, if we have this ABC, that would then turn this into a WXY for another move up. So I mean, overall 3-wave would be a W, X, and then a Y. And we also have this 200 EMA coming up here on the 4 hours. So depending on how this plays out, just kind of extend out the corrective nature of this overall move from this drastic drop that we had. Lots of indecision, so that's kind of where we're at the moment. But so we'll dive into the shorter time frame here, see if we can make anything out from a RSI perspective or a wave structure perspective as well. So like I said, we were looking for we've had some little pumps up, again, a lot of corrective nature, so we do have a 3-wave move here, and that would be an ABC for a flat. And then we have a 5-wave move down. So a couple of different ways to look at this. For ETH. This could overall be an A wave, come down for the C, and then or for the B, and then up again for the C to create another flat. So right here, where we're at now on the 15-minute, we are back into the bullish control zone. We're kind of just bounce around a little bit. This whole wave here is just it's been choppy. It's been very difficult to read on a 15-minute. 1 hour is a little bit clearer, but again, even right here where we're at for this particular zone here, a lot of resistance. Nobody got rejected right here, rejected here, rejected here, but it does look like it does want to make one more swing up. But ultimately, for this to be a 3-wave motion inside of the A wave to get us up here around 171 to see us getting rejected back down to complete the C. So that's one thing that we will be looking at. One thing I'll be paying attention to, it looks like we do had right here where we had our bullish divergence that played out on this little pump up. And it looks like from the 1 hour that is kind of resetting a little bit to potentially have one more move up. So it does look like to me that we want to give one more little pump up. It's definitely something that I will be paying attention to. I'll see where it plays out, and we will go from there. But ultimately near-term targets. We can potentially roll over here, which I'll be looking around the 139 range where we come back up again, but probably still looking to come back down for the 139 range based upon the overall fib extension levels and where those EMAs line up for us on the larger time frame from the 4 hour. All right, guys, that's what I have for ETH. Let's go ahead and bounce over to Bitcoin. Looking at Bitcoin before I dive into the chart here, I do want to go ahead and pull up the last video real quick, just to do a quick recap. I was able to get a quick 6-minute video out there just on my thoughts on Bitcoin real quick from the last move. Going back for before we had that last little pump up, right here is where I was looking for a decision to ultimately go down or get our pump up for a potential 5th wave extension or up for a C wave, just because the fibs did match for both. And when we did get the bull scenario that really played out pretty much to a T, where we did come up and tag the overall a little bit further of a higher extension for what I was looking for. Around 7,200 is where we tagged. So we'll go ahead and go back into the chart. So it was nice to see that one play out and kind of look at where we're at from now. So right here is where that C wave was. So we came back, tagged roughly it was just shy 7,200, 7,197 looks like. And we had a pretty hard rejection right afterwards. And I was thinking we were going to trail sideways for a little bit, but went up, and then we had that really quick rejection right afterwards. Looking at the 4-hour time frame, again, one thing we do want to pay attention to is where do our overall EMAs land, especially our larger time frames, our 100, our 200. And we have one right up here around 78. We also have another one trailing down here ultimately for what I'm looking for at about 63.75, I'll call it. So this one looks to be a little bit more of a complex correction. So if you look at ETH from the one we just took a look at, we had this as an ABC because this last move here played out pretty impulsively for ETH. This one for Bitcoin is kind of a mess. Again, we have a 3-wave move for an A, consolidate, have a triangular formation for B, and then an impulsive wave up for a C. So this would be a WXY. Now, if this potential move did turn out where we had this drop down, which again, kind of similar for what I'm looking for in ETH from a wave structure, this would then turn, instead of a WXY, would then be a WXYXZ because we would still need to have another move up before we can have our impulsive 5-wave down. So it would just draw out the correction. As I said before, there's a lot of indecision in the market from, where do we want to take this thing? And obviously there's a lot of different events happening in the world right now, and with different economies, they're just playing a pretty key role into this, I think, where no one really knows what to do quite yet, where they want to take it. So for Bitcoin, similar extensions, I guess, from what I was looking for on ETH, where we can come back down, tag to 1-to-1. It'd also be the 1.236 for the WXY for this complex correction to come down. So ultimately looking for it to come back down around 63.60 is where I'm looking for the overall extension. And on the smaller time frame, we'll go ahead and dive in because I am on a similar scenario looking for this to potentially come out to let me get rid of this, where we can potentially come up and have again one more pump up, because with this one for Bitcoin, it does look to be a little bit more of a 4th wave motion happening on this particular one, where we have a pretty clean wave structure up for you can see right here, 1, 2, and then this would be the 3rd, and then the 5th. So this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up again one more for a 5th. So it does look like it does have one more push higher. Looking for probably around a double top up here of the 6,900 level, maybe 7K if we have an extended 5th wave on there. So overall, that's what I'm looking for from a Bitcoin perspective. Again, this is more of a complex correction, and I'll put the target on there as well for you guys. because what we can do, draw it out, make it a little bit clearer. So we have our ABC here. It's the one that we're looking for to play out from my last video. And right here is where we got that rejection. So again, we'll have another third wave. I'm sorry, an A wave come up for the B and then ultimately down for the C. And we'll go ahead and pull the retracement. Let's try that one more time. Tighten that up a little bit. So it looks like we did retrace up to the 706. We can, from a B wave perspective, I mean, we can actually, retrace quite a bit higher potential for a B wave. We can all the way go up to the 1.382 for an expanded flat. And ultimately, again, that would give us another further downside for the C wave. I do have us underneath this trend line right here. It's kind of a little bit more of a hidden trend line that does go back a little bit, and that is the one we were bouncing off of right here. Got a drop, and we're coming back up, and we're hitting our head on it. So it looks like to me we may want to, based upon some of the other indicators that I'm looking at, that we may want to come back up and hit our head on it one more time. I don't think we'll break it. It is possible, but I think we'll come back up, maybe retest the 7,000 level for the B wave, and then ultimately get our C wave back down. But again, like I said before, where we can potentially come down to on the extreme side is the 1.618. It's just shy or a little above 6,000. So we'll call it 6,050 on the extreme side down. Obviously, as that wave does play out, we'll have a little bit better targets because we'll be able to count the 5-wave structure down, pull some fib levels, and get a little bit more precise. It can be a little bit further back than that in regards to what the extension will look like, because there's a certain pivot points and fibs we would hit ultimately on the way down, such as the 1.236, 1.32, so on and so forth. So it'll be key to pay attention to what the wave structure is coming down, and then I'll give us a better idea of what we're looking for our targets. But yeah, right now, guys, it does look like we're, again, kind of sideways choppy action. Might get a little one more push up around 7,000. I don't think we're going to go much higher than that, just based upon where the resistance levels are. So, if right here, 7,000 was a big resistance. Right here, again, 7,000 is big resistance. We did pop above it for a little bit one point in time, but hard rejection back down. So that is one thing that I am looking to potentially play out. And then another formation that may be fairly common for you guys to notice and pay attention to. Something I called out before in one of my other charts is the head and shoulders. And I can draw that real quick for you guys. All right, we have our left shoulder here, head right in the middle. Have a right shoulder, and then back down. So we kind of we did pop above the neckline right here, but we're still underneath this overall trend line right here. So it's something to kind of pay attention to, as this is a pretty common reversal pattern for us to lead more further downside. So if I don't see us having too much more further up, like I said, lots of resistance right here at the 7,000. We're 6,900 where we're at now, and we'll see what this plays out to. But these are my key targets for what I'm looking for here in the near term for Bitcoin. As always, guys, if you do like my videos, if you like my content, make sure you guys smash the likes, hit the subscribe button, and I look forward to seeing your contact come through so I can share that video with you, and I'll see you guys in the Discord.